16, turn me up.
Just like that, we're back. Views from Section 400. Matt, Jack, Brian, along for the ride. Another action-packed episode in store for you guys. Stay tuned the whole episode for some uninterrupted sports conversation. To start it off real quick, question of the day. It may not be March yet. February 29th, we're on the cusp. It's a leap year. We got the extra February day. Although up here in the Northeast, it is warming up. So that's always good stuff. But obviously, the elephant in the room, March Madness is essentially here. The welcoming to the spring, the gateway to the summer season. With March Madness on the cards, the first 2 weekends, the first 2 days, 12 to 12, uninterrupted college basketball all day. What do you guys pair with watching the game?
Yeah, you started off with a nice soda. You know, it could be a Coke, could be a Sprite, and then just your lunch sandwich, whatever it is. Nice little light start to the day. And you drive right home, you crack open a beer, you put the tortilla chips with the cheese in the oven, get the nachos cranking, crack another beer, take the nachos out, sit on your couch for 5 hours, watch some basketball.
At what point are you too blacked to continue to watch? When do you black out? What is blackout point?
Well, I like March Madness enough where the idea is not to black out, but the kind of tap out is probably that last tip off is when, you know, the waters start coming out, the 12-30, Tom McCarthy on the call. It's a 14-3 game with the best 3 seeds, so it's not going to be a good game, but you're just going to watch and drink some water.
I don't hate it, man. Jack, over to you, dude.
Look, I don't have a whole ass schedule like Brian does. Shame on me. But what I will say is I get the booze flowing. I will absolutely get myself a 6-pack, a 12-pack, whatever the occasion calls for. If it's, you know, first round of March Madness, all those teams in there, yeah, we're gonna need a little bit more than 6 to cover the hours of basketball. But booze for me, and when it comes to food, a lot of games, switching the channels around, you got to be quick on your toes. I like nachos, Brian, but the fingers get all messed up, too messy for me. Chips and guac.
Good call.
Huge. Love it. Love it. Dude, you can't have it. You're exactly right, man. You got 4 different channels, games on all over the place. You got to be quick with the remote, especially if you're watching with people. So the messy hands going to really interrupt switching the channel around, trying to get to the hot game at the right time.
I do have some breaking news for you, Jack. You won't need a remote this year with the YouTube TV multi-view. You can have all 4 going on your TV at once.
Yeah, but how big is that? How good is that viewing experience?
Well, it depends on how big your TV is. I am in the fortunate position where I invested in some YouTube TV this year, so I will be living like a king during March Madness. I thought about canceling my subscription after football season ended, but well, what am I thinking? I got March Madness rolling around right now, so I'm gonna be dialed in to all 4 of them. You know, the cool thing about that is you can quickly switch which one you're getting the audio from. Tigers are on there, or, you know, UNC, FAU, team that I'm liking this year, maybe Kansas for our future. I'll be dialed into that game.
Auburn's got to get the full screen treatment. You can't put Auburn in multi-view.
Look, I just had to say that to make everybody happy, so Matt didn't come at our necks right now. But yes, Auburn will be in the full view.
I mean, it is what it is. I kind of figured Auburn would be on full view, as it should be for you guys. Maybe not for me, but for you guys. I wouldn't rip on you for that. But I just wanted to say some free advertising for YouTube TV right there. People who might not have known about the multi-view, now they do. And any additional subscribers that YouTube TV gets, straight beneficiary of views from Section 400. So there you go. YouTube, the rich get richer. In terms of what I like pairing,
Brian, before you go, Matt, Brian, is there some sort of referral discount?
That's what I'm saying. We need that money.
Gotta be.
We need that money.
Yeah. Look, I mean, there's a free ad right there.
Maybe we just need our head of sponsorships to reach out to YouTube TV and we'll get them a couple subscribers.
Yeah, it's a couple emails have been sent, haven't heard anything back. So in terms of what I like pairing with the March Madness games, you guys hit it all the nail on the head. I don't really have much to offer. Definitely like enjoying some kind of bar food, so to speak. I do know about getting the fingers messy is a huge key. Obviously, we just went over the whole multi-view thing. But yeah, really just anything unhealthy would be the best way to put it. Right when I get home, I mean, a nice cold light beer. Got to keep it light. Don't want an IPA to soak it in. And hey, it's getting warmer outside. We don't need those IPAs to warm us up. The light beers, the chugger beers, the beers you can sit on all day, they'll be getting cracked open. I'll be looking forward to my Thursday night and especially my Friday night as soon as I get home from work. But that's some good stuff right there. Obviously, March Madness right on the cusp of it. Actually, it's one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to of the year. Obviously, we don't skip it every week. Brian's new segment, he loves it. I've heard positive feedback from it, so I'm starting to love it. The Michael of the Week, presented by our Bracketology over Views from Section 400. Make sure you check out Bracketology. Brian and I have been dialing it up. We're getting better and better. And look, you're going to do the bracket. You might as well have some good insight. Views from section400.com. Check out the Bracketology. Brian, lead us off here. You're batting 1,000. What do you got? Michael of the Week.
Yeah, so I am going to list a list of people for you guys, and I want you to guess what this list is. Jeff Capel, Kenny Payne, Hubert Davis, Earl Grant, Adrian Autry, Damon Stoudemire, Micah Screwsbury, Kevin Keats, and the last one is Leonard Hamilton.
Total shot in the dark. All guys who have a national title in college.
No, these guys sound like a bunch of refs or something.
Are they not basketball players? Was I really way off?
So they are all ACC head coaches who happen to be black. That was a headline of a graphic that the ACC network ran during a game.
I do remember that. I vaguely saw that. It was just the terminology, right? It wasn't like, black head coaches or African-American head coach. It was just like DC coaches who happen to be black. Yeah, like it was ridiculous.
That got passed through so many channels, and just the fact that graphic made it on air is my Michael of the Week. I mean, that just surprised the hell out of me.
You said Hubert Davis. That's the UNC head coach, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the only name out of anybody I recognize, and I don't know why I thought that they were announcers, but like that's like the level of names you were saying right there. So thanks, Bri. Listen, I mean, just stemming off of that, I'll go right into my Michael of the Week. It's also going to be something that ESPN did, something that they're promoting. Donkey basketball. Have you guys seen this?
Donkey basketball?
Actually, donkey basketball. I saw on ESPN's fucking social media space a clip of these people riding around on donkeys, tossing around a little, mini hoop basketball, and they're riding around on the donkeys on a real court and chucking in layups on top of donkeys.
It's like Quidditch, but with donkeys and a basketball.
Yeah, and
I
dude,
guess polo.
Look, I mean, this would be my loser of the week, but it's gonna sit in the Michael. It's just something that surprised the hell out of me. Never did I thought that we were gonna be playing basketball on the backs of donkeys, maybe horses or something like that. But in an open field, but like we're just bringing donkeys into like the school, like middle school gyms now, and putting kids on their back, and it's just ridiculous. That's all I'm gonna say. It's ridiculous. ESPN, let's promote some interesting things, not donkey basketball.
What's the pay grade got to be for that? Like a max contract in donkey basketball?
I'm in the camp of like it's got to be some special event that somebody put on somewhere. But the fact that it made it to ESPN and made it out on the channels is beyond me. They have to have something better than that.
Not even ESPN Ocho yet. It's just regular ESPN.
Is that something that's on at like 2, 3 in the morning? You happen to catch on when you're like get home from the bar. That's usually when they air that.
Not gonna lie, do not look into it. For anybody listening, if you see any clips of donkey basketball, just skip right past them. It is not worth your time.
Where was this during COVID? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, imagine donkey basketball during when all the sports were canceled.
Big pandemic. Could have capitalized on some viewers. Didn't take advantage of it. But yeah, donkey basketball.
Couldn't get COVID.
Yes, for my Michael of the Week, I'll go with the big pop star Taylor Swift not giving Andy Reid a Pop-Tart. Do you guys see that?
It did
What?
do that.
Yeah, so apparently Taylor Swift made a bunch of Pop-Tarts for the offensive linemen and did not give Andy Reid one. I mean, come on. This dude is like triple cheeseburger. That's what he looks like. Didn't miss out on any cheesesteaks in his time in Philadelphia. Taylor, I know the Swifties are going to come at me for getting on her, but you got to give Big Red a Pop-Tart, especially if it's homemade. You think that guy skips out on the baked goods? No shot. He's like, yeah, she didn't give me one, and the offensive lineman definitely didn't give me one. He said it was all good, and they said there was no bad blood involved there. So
I like the air quotes there.
look at Big Red throwing that in there like nobody would notice. But Michaels of the Week, new segment we do every week here, presented by the Bracketology, views from section400.com. Go check it out. I'm going to keep saying it. It's going to win you money. So go check out the Bracketology over on our website. College basketball. There's been some major stories. Well, not major, but there's been just some crazy events, right? So I look at it. UConn, Houston, and Purdue are the far and away best teams. They've set themselves apart. They're essentially the teams to beat, and honestly, probably locks for the 1 seed. So as those three are the locks for the 1 seed, that leaves one team remaining for the 1. So I send it over to you guys. Who gets in as the final 1 seed? Please don't say Auburn.
Right now, I would probably say Arizona. I know they lost once last week, but they came back and won after that. I just think that they're probably the most complete team outside of the other 3. So I'm going to give them the bid. But I also I have a lot of faith in some other teams. But just for the sake of time, that's going to be my pick.
It's not an easy question. Brian, what do you got?
Be the winner of the SEC.
Really?
Whoever that is. If
Alabama wins the SEC, they're the 1 seed?
Yes. Arizona can't be losing to Washington State at home. That's just, you see that loss, and it's not a good loss. It's
so
most likely
Kentucky wins the SEC. They got it.
Well, Kentucky's not going to win it. They're 2 games behind. It's going to be either.
How can you say that?
They're basically out of it. They have a rough road, and they're 2 games behind. It's going to be either Auburn, Tennessee, or South Carolina.
Well, you
the
mean
regular,
the regular? Yeah, you mean the regular season?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And it'll help if they win the conference tournament too. But if Tennessee wins the SEC regular season, they're going to get a 1.
I don't know if that's accurate. I really don't.
You hate Tennessee so much. Tennessee's really good.
They are good.
I just don't know. I just don't know how you sound very convinced, and I just don't have that same conviction.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Tennessee is good, but
good way to put it, Jack.
There's other teams that could slide in there, I think.
Okay, well, maybe I should have been. If Kentucky somehow wins the SEC, they're not getting a 1 seed. If Alabama wins the SEC, they need to go undefeated 4-0 to end the season. If Auburn wins the SEC,
if UNC wins the ACC, I think there's going to be a lot of people throwing them as the 1 seed. I don't know how you just.
That was the other team I was thinking about when I said Arizona.
Tennessee's better than UNC.
I'm not saying they are or they're not.
They have a better resume too. There's a reason the AP poll hasn't ranked so high.
Who? Tennessee?
Tennessee.
UNC's right there.
UNC's ranked what, 9?
Are they that deep? I didn't think they were that far down.
They're top 10. Shoot me.
Yeah, and there's obviously still a couple regular season games left, and I think the conference tournament will sway these rankings as well. I think locking up a regular season conference championship won't. I mean, it might help, but I don't think it's going to dictate the seeding until it's all said and done when we have actual conference tournament championships. I don't know finalized.
If they're going to matter that much. Honestly.
So either way, we weren't trying to jump down your throat, Brian. Who is the final number 1 seed?
I said the winner of the SEC.
No, you didn't. You got to pick a team. I don't know. That's such a cop-out bullshit answer.
Tennessee?
Okay, whoever wins.
So you're saying Tennessee.
Whoever wins the Tennessee-Auburn game on Wednesday.
So whoever wins that game Wednesday, regardless of how they do in the SEC tournament,
yes,
is the 1 seed.
Yes.
Heard it here first from Brian. I don't think it's that much of a lock. Although I don't disagree it definitely could be one of those two. But I think Brian is outright sold on that being the final one, and I'm not outright sold. So there's the difference there. We have kind of 3 locks for the one, but we don't have a 4th team in that lock spot. Brian seems to be convinced that there is a locked team. I'm not so sold.
Well, I'll tell you who that team's not going to be. It's not going to be Duke, especially
No.
after Kyle Filipowski got trampled by a Wake Forest player. I mean, did you guys seen all these like debates about court storming?
Yeah, it's
People want to
ridiculous,
ban
dude.
it. It's just, I think there's got to be a way to make it safer without banning it, right?
If you think about it, it hasn't been this bad because there's been, Filipowski's very popular player. Caitlin Clark had an incident with it. So it's a little more heightened. But if you've seen over the years of court storming, there's always these interviews post game of people calling for it to get banned and people debating. Nothing's going to happen. The commissioners are looking into it. What are you going to do? Find the school? The school doesn't care. If the school cared, they would have done something. What are you going to do? Put up gates around the court? Get real. Players need to suck it up. If you don't want to get stormed on when the reason they're doing it is because you're such a far and away better team. So don't lose. Then you don't have to deal with people running on the court. Well, they're going to put up gates around the court so like what is this, a jail?
Well, they can at least
Come on.
The Wake Forest security guards looked like that one TikTok of the security guard like just not checking people at that one concert. Like they didn't do anything. Yeah. That was like
what can they do?
Okay,
what are you going to do? They run the risk of getting hurt at that point.
At least stand in front of them and try to not make it direct.
You can grab one person as a security guard. That is
make a wall. Grab like 6 of you and just make a wall, and it'll at least hold them back for like 3 seconds. That's your job. Stampeded. That's better than the players.
They're not getting paid enough.
Yeah.
Well, then pay them more. I mean, the thing is, it's never going to get banned.
And ticket prices go up.
There's no reason for the NCAA to ban it because, one, like court storms get traffic to their sport. And then 2, they get to fine the schools, so they make money and they get traffic. So it's never going to get banned by the NCAA. The only thing the schools have to figure out, like, you got to make it.
Like, come on. What a dude. Like, again, I get it. It could have been a serious injury. But what is it? Filipowski has a sore ankle. What happened to Caitlin Clark? She had like a sore leg. Like, I mean, it was dramatic. It was dramatics. I mean, those injuries were, I get it. Somebody could get hurt. And, you could have a jackass student, immature student do something stupid. I understand that, but don't lose the game. They're storming the court because you were the way better team and you just got upset. So win the game. Don't bitch and cry like a little girl. That's what I got on that.
I mean, this is the era of like nobody can have nice things anymore. So
right.
I mean, I just think that if you were to do something as far as banning this, what would that look like? You can't give me a logical answer. To Matt's point, putting up cages around, what are
like what are you gonna do?
Hockey ring?
Well, I mean, if they wanted to ban it, they could easily. You revert to COVID rules for the next game, and you don't let fans in. If the NCAA really wanted to like put their foot down,
you're saying like, okay, the fans are in, they didn't upset.
Like that's the way you ban it, and then they're not going to do it again because they're not going to want to miss a game.
Yeah, well then, the school loses money. That's just a nightmare, though. Do you know much more of an uprising that would cause?
That's what I'm saying. Like that's the only feasible option you really have, and it doesn't make any sense.
It's just to say, all right, no fans. Only the band and cheerleaders can go because they ran on the court because they pulled off an upset. Come on.
And the one Detroit Mercy fan can go to every game where there's a possible court storm. Just have
that's a joke. Court. That's a joke. But anyway.
You talked about Caitlin Clark. You guys see Iowa gave her a spot on the court. It says Clark 22 on the court now.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, she's what? The all-time women's and like 50 points away from Pete Maravich's all-time record for obviously guys and girls.
Yep.
So they're giving her like a laminated spot on the court.
Yep. Yeah, she's still there and she has a laminated spot.
It just says 22 and then Clark.
Wow.
Just kind of wild. Like you normally have to wait for someone to die before you do that, unless you're Coach K.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, look, I mean, most of the time it's like you get your name up in the rafters. I mean, that's the standard. Yeah, we just saw Brittany Griner get her jersey retired by Baylor not too long ago, and she's been out of Baylor for what 15-ish years, 10, 15 years. And now she's getting a jersey up in the rafters. She was a number one kind of gal when she was in college. She, won the Natty. What's Caitlin Clark up to? I mean, I know there's South Carolina that she has to go up against, UConn, Miami. There's some good teams that she's gonna have to beat if she wants a title. I get it though. No, the record. I just
yeah.
think it's a little much.
Well, if they retired Caitlin or Brittany Griner's number at Baylor, does the White House retire the Merchant of Death's number? You kind of have to, right? They're equal. They're equal assets.
I don't know,
Nothing.
man.
I've got
Enough
no
of Caitlin
comment,
Clark.
Brian. I've got no comment. That was hilarious. I got no
Enough of Caitlin Clark. Let's give shout out to our website contributor Myers with the South Florida play. He did have them as regular season conference champions. I think it was like 40 to win over a grand. And that's looking pretty good. Did they lock up that regular season conference title? I know FAU lost to Memphis.
I think with FAU's loss, they're 2 ahead, so they should be selling pretty.
And not only that, South Florida, top 25 for the first time in school history, program history, top 25. So it poses the question, if they keep rolling at this pace, but say lose in the American, are they an outright bid?
If they win the regular season, yeah.
If they win the regular season, and
It's
then
getting to that point.
It's getting to that point. I mean, you got to include them, man. They've been a wagon all year.
You know what I could see the committee doing is snubbing them somehow for Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans, who have been awful. They've gone from, the saying is January, February Izzo. Now it's January, February. Uh-oh.
Well, it's interesting because, right, like, will South Florida get snubbed? Will FAU somehow get snubbed? They've been ranked all year. Do they jump into snub territory?
I
mean, look, I don't know about
schedule's
that.
been too tough.
I'll let Brian comment on that, but what I will say is that was a tough game that they just lost to Memphis. I watched.
Well, they got Memphis when Memphis was playing as the 10 team in the country. That's the Memphis that they faced. Memphis played lights out.
Yeah, no, but that's what I was gonna say. Was Memphis looked insane in that game. They looked honestly like they wanted that game, like it was a championship game. That's how hard Memphis was playing in that game. And FAU was keeping up, but eventually, Memphis really, really just wanted it more.
Well, if you remember, FAU Memphis was the 8-9 game last year, and FAU won. So Memphis didn't forget about that, rightfully so.
But they got their
this is a Memphis team that a week or two ago lost on the road to North Texas.
Yep.
Who I'm pretty sure has a losing record. So they got up for this game. They didn't forget about March Madness opening round last year. Last thing I want to touch on in college basketball, and again, if you guys have anything else, bring it up. But is Bronny an NBA level player? And if he goes to the draft, he's obviously going to get drafted. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, it's starting to get to the question: is Bronny going to stay another year? Seems like he has to.
Yeah. I mean, he damn well should. Look, he's LeBron James' son. He's going to have every resource to be an NBA player. He's going to have you would think he's going to have the work ethic to become an NBA player. But let's not forget that he's a kid. Might need another year, maybe even 2 before he's ready to make that jump to the NBA. And I don't think that anybody should fault him for that. I mean, yeah, his dad was LeBron James that was ready to go to the NBA at 18 years old. But, LeBron is LeBron. He's one of one. Give the kid a year or 2. I think that eventually down the line, he will be a good NBA player. I don't know if he'll ever be a superstar, but, just give the kid some time.
Yeah, Jack, I'm interested how you knew he was LeBron James's son, because, we weren't supposed to have these conversations after he changed his name to Bronny. He'll be fine. He's a freshman. He's like a true freshman that's just struggling to figure it out. I just think it's hilarious how LeBron was tweeting about how he was better than half these role players in the NBA like a year ago. And now he's seeing the mock drafts and he's like, just give him time. He's young. It's like a complete 180.
Total flip-flop. Total flip-flop.
Well, I mean, you can understand LeBron James Sr. being being a little biased, saying his son is that good, and having those blinders on. You can understand that, but LeBron James Jr. It's just a fact. He's not there yet.
There yet, and there's no rush, right? Like, let him develop, let him take the time. If anything, I'm looking at LeBron, his father, for creating the extra media attention and creating the extra hype on him.
LeBron needs to LeBron needs to shut up and dribble, as I hate to hear.
I do hate to hear that one, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of really just some crazy college basketball stories. Obviously, it's been a hectic week.
Got one more quick thing. The jolly pale giant will finally be gone next year. Zach Edey is not taking his COVID year to return again to Purdue, so he will maybe get drafted in the NBA. But thank God that's finally going to be over.
Yeah, he's been just been annoying to watch. I get it. Like, good luck in the NBA, dude, but I don't even know if he's going to be this outstanding NBA player. I mean, he's a little slow for the NBA.
He's very slow, and to his credit, he can shoot free throws pretty well. He's really worked on that, but he can't shoot it. He made his first three of his career this season, and it was like an
can't hit the
bank.
three. And does he have any type of mid range? Like, look at Embiid, dude. Embiid might have the best mid range in the NBA.
Yeah, he might. To be fair to Edey, I had the same thought process when I was looking at Walker Kessler, and he seemed to found a home playing like 15 minutes for the Jazz. So maybe Edey can do the same.
So maybe he's a 15, 20-minute guy. Jump over to the MLB, though. Heating up again. We just had spring training opening day this past weekend. Some of the big aces on the mound. I mean, Brian, any takeaways from the opening weekend of spring? I know the Mets are still kind of a disaster and dumpster fire.
You talked about the aces going out. Michael Krenick, 2 perfect innings. I wrote a blog about it. Go check that out. But he's probably going to do nothing, but I have my hopes up. But my biggest takeaway from the first week of spring wasn't actually from a guy that's signed. Did you guys see Trevor Bauer pitch to Marty Mush from Barstool?
I thought I heard murmurs of that or rumors of that, but I didn't see any kind of video.
So they went into a cage, and he had like a pitch/hit tracker thing going. And the deal was Marty Mush said he could hit 130 in the majors. So if he got 2 of these like simulated hits against Trevor Bauer, he won the challenge. And then, of course, if Bauer didn't let him get 2 hits, Bauer won. Trevor Bauer made a whole 10-minute video, walked him twice, gave up 2 hits, and struck him out like 5 times to a Barstool blogger. And you wonder why you're not signed on a major league roster. And that's not good PR for you either. I don't know why you're out there.
Yeah, I don't know why he's like promoting that. I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah, he was throwing like 93, and it's like his off speed looked okay. Apparently, it was disgusting according to a Barstool sports blogger, but I don't know how much weight you could really put in that. But yeah, he gave up 2 hits, and he walked him a couple times.
Yeah, not a great look there. Aaron Nola looked electric on the mound Saturday against, I think it was the Yankees. Granted, Yankees AAA team or AA team, whatever nonsense lineup they threw out there. But Nola looked electric as he should have. So nice to see him out there. Where are the rest of these free agents going to go, right? Blake Snell's still out there. Jordan Montgomery's still out there. I know Bellinger just fell off the board. Aroldis Chapman's still out there gaining interest from a couple teams. Obviously, the big ones, Snell and Montgomery. I mean, Snell and the Yankees have seemed to be made the most sense and where a lot of the conversation's been. But I did see a report that just said something about a Yankees person characterized the chances of a deal with Snell very low.
Yankees are probably getting rattled by Soto's camp leaking that he wants to sign over in Queens next year. So they need to save that money for Soto next year.
I did see that. It was what'd they say though? It was like they called it like a poach for a poach. Like the Yankees poached somebody from the Mets, and then the Mets poached Soto. But I think that's just all a bunch of gibberish nonsense talk.
I think it's just Soto leaking that hey, there's a guy over there that's willing to pay me a lot of money, so you guys better pay me a lot of money. But speaking of people getting paid a lot of money, did you see your boy in Philly? What's an extension?
Yeah, I think that's overhyped by the media. Sure, he wants an extension, but Harper's not the kind of guy to cause a big media ruckus. He even said, again, here's Brian like airlifting media quotes. He even said that he understands other guys need to get paid. and he, wants to get something done and wants to be in Philly, but he's not going to go and cause a big holdout scene.
When you look at it, he is the 29th highest AAV player in the league, and the only player above him with more MVPs is Mike Trout. And Ohtani will probably get there eventually, like maybe as soon as next year. But like he's severely underpaid.
Look, like I said, I think they'll get something done and they'll come to an agreement, but it might take a little bit of time, and he's acknowledged that. Look, like I said, I don't think he's going to come out and cause a huge major scene because he's not getting an extension, a 13-year contract that he's only 4 years into or 5 years into.
That's the wild part of it all.
Let's relax.
8 years left on. I can't remember the last time I saw someone ask for an extension.
Yeah, 8 years left on the deal. And so, look, I get it. He might be underpaid at the time, and we'll see how that plays out. I don't see Harper holding out because he's not getting an extension on a contract that he still has 8 years that he's obligated to be committed to. There's Brian trying to stir up some nonsense.
Hey, you've been shitting on my Mets for the past week and a half.
Because they've been shit.
They've won today. They have a above 500 record in the spring.
Well, there you go.
Because
Michael Kranick's thrown fucking perfect innings against single A lineups. Give me a break. That guy will have a over 5 ERA in the middle of June.
Possibly for Syracuse too. He might not even make
possibly for the Syracuse Mets. An interesting one though, I do want to talk about, and I didn't even know that was out there, was look, the Giants, they got Jung-Hoo Lee, they got Jorge Soler. Do they add Aroldis Chapman? That's like a weird move that I can see him going to the Giants and him just being like lights out.
Yeah, I mean, it's Chapman. He's the hurler, the fireball thrower, dude. I don't know.
But people say he's like washed. People say he's washed.
I was gonna say, I don't know how much he's got left in the tank. I don't know if he's gonna be able to throw strikes. That's always been an issue for him. But hey, man, you need a closer to come in there and pop a couple 103s off the good old radar. He can get the job done.
Yeah, I don't know. The Giants are weird. Like if the last 2 years of the Mets with Steve Cohen have been like his big kind of hedge fund spending, the Giants are like Jordan Belfort, just throwing penny stocks at all these like mid-tier players. The last couple of years, they've just been signing these like mid-tier free agents and hoping it works. And I guess it's worked for them in the past. I mean,
the 1 year it worked when they had that like crazy 105 win season with Kapler. And I think you even called it, Brian. You were like, the Giants are frauds.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I was like, they're frauds. You're like, they're going to lose to the Dodgers. And I think that's what happened. They lost to the Dodgers in the, what was it, NLDS?
Yeah, first round, back when that was the first round. But yeah, they were like the Kings in the NBA last year. Just like an overperforming like role player team.
Dude, they had like 105 wins, and I don't think had a superstar on the team. They had 34-year-old Brandon Crawford at the time.
He was hitting like 300. He was an all-star.
I know, but I'm saying that was their guy. They had, it wasn't this loaded team. So they were able to piece some guys together. Pretty sure Logan Webb was leading that rotation. It still is.
Was that after Sandoval?
Yeah.
The big
Sandoval, I think he was chucking up, a 125 average for not the Pirates, for the Red Sox.
He might be in the Dominican League, but I don't know what else. The only other thing I wanted to say was, did anybody see, what was it, Miguel Sano losing like 90 pounds? I don't know if that's going to help his power numbers because he could barely bat 220. He would bat like 210, but have some power.
You talk about Andy Reid not getting the Pop-Tart. He was not laying off the Pop-Tarts. Sano was eating all of them.
Weight plays a factor in baseball. A little nugget that a lot of people don't consider. You're usually thinking about strength, speed, height, but weight actually does make a difference. If you remember CC Sabathia when he was little south of 400 pounds, he was throwing the ball almost 100 miles an hour. He slimmed down one off season, came back looking kind of healthy. He was throwing like 93 miles an hour. I mean, it really does impact a couple things, and it absolutely will impact your power numbers. But, if you're making up for that with strength training, it'll be fine.
I just thought it was nuts because he used to be a load.
Crazy. Yeah, I want to see a picture of that.
We'll keep dialing up the baseball as baseball continues to roll on. We got opening day And I guess a month because they go to the Korea series like a week early, which is
Yep.
nuts.
No one will be watching because
No one will be
we'll have our
watching.
nachos and beer and all the snacks we talked about
Yeah,
for March Madness.
not a great job of the MLB, but what are you going to do? Well, at least we have 2029 to look forward to when Manfred's gone.
Yep.
And I'll end the MLB conversation with that. Let's jump over to the season that's kind of in full swing, and we're dialing up, getting close to playoff basketball. The NBA.
Yeah, so I know we've been talking about the dog days of the NBA and kind of how, it's easy to tune out. And I think the players have kind of gotten that message at least because everybody is fighting. It's not just Draymond Green anymore. Like there are brawls every night in the NBA. We saw Jimmy Butler go against like the whole Pelicans team, went on Instagram and just called them shit afterwards. He said they were shit at fighting and shit at basketball. Then we had Lester Quinones, who's on a 10-day fight Grant Williams. Grant Williams probably just pissed off. He got shipped off to Charlotte at the deadline.
Yeah, I saw the Grant Williams one. That was nuts. I didn't see the Jimmy Butler saga though. That's nuts.
And then Quinn Snyder put up the YMCA probably wasn't very fond of him trying to fight a referee. So like everybody's just getting into it. And then you have Patrick Beverley being horny, saying he's going to be on Kyle Lowry's ass the next time they play. And to be fair, he was. He held him to 3 points. But it's a scene right now in the NBA.
Yeah, Brian, I don't know what it is, but to your point, they are going crazy right now. I think it might be some of these older veteran NBA players starting to realize that, time's running out for them. And, especially I'm thinking about teams like the Lakers and the Warriors who are sitting at, play-in game range right now in the Western Conference. The new era is coming in. And I think maybe some old heads might not be okay with it. I think maybe they feel like they're being disrespected by the youngins, or maybe it's, the youngins just aren't coming in with that respect. I know the Golden State Warriors, their point guard, not Steph Curry, obviously, but the dude who looks like a TikTok star. Yeah,
Lester
who?
Quinones. Lester Quinones, I think.
Lester Quinones. He comes off like he's definitely not the most respectful dude on the court. So, I could see how he can rub people the wrong way.
I didn't even think about it until you said the new guys versus old guys thing. Maybe they're just all fighting over who should be the next face of the NBA. No, we had the debate. Maybe that's what they're doing.
Maybe. We'll say Jason Tatum is the only one that's probably sitting down at the end of the night right now, feeling comfortable with where his team is standing. I believe, at the time of this recording, they are 7 games ahead of the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference versus, over in the West. I believe that those same 7 games separate the 1st seed and like the 10 seed. For all you Celtics fans or any of you basketball fans in general, in case you haven't been keeping up, the Celtics will choke in the playoffs. It will either be a Western Conference team that wins the championship again, or the Celtics will be in the Eastern Conference Finals. But either way, they're not winning the ship. They are the NBA's Dallas Cowboys.
That's a great comparison, honestly. So the other team that might be the NBA's Dallas Cowboys, the Clippers, you see they rebranded?
I did not see that they rebranded.
They're going to
Just
have
like a new logo and everything?
new jerseys and a new logo. And
Well,
I
they
think,
needed to.
yeah, I think half of Twitter found out a Clipper was a naval vessel because their new logo is going to have like a boat in the middle. So that was kind of wild to come to that realization.
Yeah, that is pretty nuts. I don't know, Brian, if you had this on your story list. I know you said you had a lot of juice for the NBA. I guess this could have been my Michael of the week as well. But Jack, you were speaking of the standings in the West, right? And when you look down, surprise, well, not to Brian and I guess you too, Jack, you're in on it. Thunder plus 8,000 future, by the way. Nobody expected them to be 40-17, as well as the Timberwolves 40-17. That's not being talked a lot about. Then you look at the Warriors, 29-27. They're in the 10th spot, which is the NBA made it the everybody gets in. So that's a play-in spot. Realistically, in grown man terms, their ass is out of the playoffs. And they just extended Steve Kerr to a 2-year, $35 million contract. The guy is the highest paid coach in NBA history. What's that, $17 million a year? $17.5 million a year. That's a lot of money to a head coach. That's in 10th place. They're probably not going to win it all this year, which I get it. Anything can happen in the NBA playoffs, but they just signed this guy to $17.5 million a year. I could go out there and coach the Warriors. You have Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson. I don't care. Klay's falling off a cliff a little bit here, but still, you got Steph Curry. I could go out there and put the team as a 10 seed.
Look, I think you might need to pay anybody who has to coach Draymond Green that money.
Good point.
That is
I
a
mean,
great
just
point.
a deal with Draymond's crazy ass. Yeah, you need. Yeah, I want 17 mil a year too. But the only thing I can say to that is, Draymond Green, but expand on that. You've got Klay Thompson there, Steph Curry, and Steph's a good soldier. He always keeps his head down, does his work. But you've got Klay Thompson, who's been moved to a bench role. You've got to deal with his ego and how he feels about that. You got Draymond getting suspended every other week for the next, issue. If I'm the owner of the Warriors and I'm sitting there, I'm counting my rings over the past few years. Steve Kerr, I see him going through this. I'm like, dude, take it. Just fucking take it. Just relax. Here's a little bit extra money. I need you. Don't bail on me. Forget everything that's happening. I need you to just bring it together.
The Warriors have, I would say 2 years left in their window of these old guys. So maybe it's just like Jack said, they're just throwing them the money. And it's like, all right, Kerr, you got 2 years. See if you could make anything happen.
What if you put Steve Kerr, and I'm not going to say, oh, what if he's the coach of the Spurs or what if he's the coach of the Hornets? All right, both those teams suck. Nobody's going there and turning them around. Those teams are horrible. But what if he's the coach of the Lakers? Does he get more out of them than the current guy right now?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I mean, Steve Kerr's.
Who is it?
There's a
DeMar
legendary
Ham or
coach at
Devin
this
Ham?
Darvin Ham.
Darvin Ham. I was close.
It's really LeBron, though. Come on.
Yeah.
LeBron's
he's
the coach
the
of every
coach.
team.
Right,
Yeah,
so maybe you can't put a Steve Kerr there.
Well, that's the thing is you would definitely have a clash, and I think it would be, it's like you can't have Doc Rivers go coach LeBron. I think wherever Steve Kerr does go, if you don't have a LeBron there, everybody on that team is going to respect him. I mean, he has proved himself to be, one of the best coaches in the NBA. So,
the Pelicans, 34-24. You put Steve Kerr on theirs. Are they doing better?
Steve Kerr on the Pelicans, they're the 1 seed right now. That team's so talented.
That team is really talented. Dude, they were my future play. We had Thunder, and then I threw the Pelicans out there. Which
Jack gave
Timberwolves,
Timberwolves,
they're the
by the way.
6th seed.
I gave you the
seed.
Yeah, Jack gave the Timberwolves. He's sitting with the 2 best teams in the NBA.
Yeah, it's nuts.
But yeah, last thing on the NBA, I guess the complete other side of the coin to just a terrible coach, Monty Williams. You guys see him just lose it last night?
Yeah.
I mean, the Pistons got robbed. I get it. They have barely 10 wins, but they got robbed.
They did. It's also just the basketball gods kind of gave one back to the Knicks after that whole Rockets fiasco. Kind of evened itself out.
I hate the eye for eye, dude. So dumb. I don't need it balanced.
I guess NBA refs could probably be a loser of the week for every show we do. Because they're
Every
always,
show.
They're always making a scene.
Is that a general poll real quick? Is the NBA refs the worst officiating across all major sports?
Yeah, look, I think it might just be basketball. I think it might be basketball refs and
people say NFL.
I was going to say MLB just because Angel Hernandez is still employed by the union.
Yeah, but actually MLB's hard. And to be fair, I think a lot of those guys do a decent job.
They do. It's really just
Angel Hernandez makes everyone look horrible. He makes everybody look horrible. I know he is, but that's why he doesn't do postseason games.
Yeah, that's true. And then he sues the MLB for not putting them on the postseason.
Yeah, and then the court judge denies it because they know that the MLB's right and he sucks at his job.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with NBA. I'm gonna go with basketball refs in general, college and NBA. I mean, it's really tough to get consistency between crews. One crew is gonna let you bump around a little bit, let you close out a little bit harder on shooters, and then the next one is you touch the guy while he's going to the basket, automatic foul. So
auto whistle.
little tougher to stay consistent. I'll say basketball refs in general. My view on it, just so everyone knows, I like it when they stay out of the game. Let these guys battle. Obviously, you have to police it if it gets out of hand, but let these guys battle, play some basketball, play hard.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I would lean the NBA refs being the worst of the major sports. Let us know in the comments below. What do you guys think? Who is the worst of the – I don't even know how you would term that question. The worst officiating?
The worst officiating of the four major sports.
Of the four major sports. And are we pending Jack's future for the NHL future pick? Stay tuned for that here in just a second.
We're going to let that one marinate one more week.
One more week. Oh, no.
Look, I have my pick. I need to watch one more week's worth of film to really feel good about it.
Gotta wait till
I've been giving out a couple fire futures lately, so I'm not gonna rush this one. All right, you'll get mine next week. Plenty of time before playoffs start, and we'll be good.
I was gonna say, will we at least get it before the playoffs?
Absolutely, you're getting it next week.
I was gonna say we'll be at the end of May. And
my word, you're getting it next week.
It'll be like conference finals.
Yeah, the only thing I had, so Matt Rempe on the Rangers debuted last week, and in his first couple games, he played 9 minutes and 56 seconds on the ice, and he spent 27 minutes in the penalty box. So shout out him.
Basically said, yeah, dude, welcome to the NHL. We're going first, right out of the opening face-off. We're fighting. Like, dude, this guy's like, I hate the Rangers. I do not like the Rangers at all. But, like, dude, 21 years old, and you got, like, 32-year-old seasoned, like, rough NHL players, like, literally wanting to fist fight. I mean, I'll give it to him just for the heart. That's a tough thing to have to go out and do.
No, look, man, and it's not just one or two. I'm pretty sure it's been like 3 or 4 fights already within his first week.
He spent a half hour in the penalty box.
I remember watching.
A lot of guys are welcoming him to the NHL. Welcome to the show, kid.
I remember him after, I can't remember, it had to have been like the first or second fight, right? He was talking about it in the post-game presser. He's like, yeah, we were talking pregame, on the ice, and we were saying, like, when the whistle blows, like, let's get after it, welcome to the league kind of moment. And I was just super excited for it. Had a great fight, just very happy about it. He was just excited to get in the NHL, into a fight. But here we are like a week later, and it just hasn't stopped yet. It's like, dude, like, is this guy the next Scott Sterling or what?
If anything, it's fueling the fire. It's fueling the fire, and people are going after him even more. I'm like, oh, now I got to get a piece of the guy. Hopefully he doesn't get injured, but
well, he did score the game-winning goal against the Flyers in that game. So
there you go.
10 minutes ice time, he managed to do something.
Yeah, the Flyers choked that game, though. They had so many opportunities. Other NHL news I would have had, though, is apparently Jack Eichel is back on the ice and skating ever since he had that pretty rough knee injury. So for all you hockey fans out there, I mean, I know he's a superstar of the game, whether you like him or not. He's a very good player. So always good to see the Stars back on the ice.
Hopefully he doesn't run into Matt Rempe.
Well, then that'll be a tough go. Let's just jump into a quick couple NFL stories as the combine is opening up. We just had the Super Bowl. We're already into the combine. We're already getting ready to see the draft. I know it sounds crazy, but week 1 will literally be here before we know it. And I know we're way, way, way far away, but it happens so quick. You go combine, draft, OTAs, rumors in July, then boom, training camp, then boom, week 1.
We're gonna blink and we're gonna hear Lee Schneider talking to us on HBO about Blades of Grass on Hard Knocks, and it's gonna be football season again. That's just off the combine. I know we're big Penix guys, but a couple of these quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, will not be throwing. Penix, Bo Nix, and I guess JJ McCarthy.
Like at all, or just opening day, or
they're gonna throw at their immediate. I think they call them media days or whatever their pro days are, like at their schools.
Yeah, pro day, yeah.
But they're not going to throw at the combine.
Gotcha. So they're going, they're just not throwing.
Yeah, they'll do like the cone drills and the 40. Speaking of the 40, I can't wait to see all those photos of the faces of the 40-yard dash. That's always a fun montage.
I just like watching it, man. I just like watching.
And then you got Rich Eisen doing his 40 in the full suit and tie.
Just gets quicker and quicker every year.
I mean, we got to talk about our guy. You know, I'm a huge L'Jarius Sneed guy, friend of the pod, friend of the program. They are prepping to franchise tag him, the Chiefs are. But I did see something that they're open to trade as well. Where do you guys see L'Jarius Sneed playing out here? I mean, he's got to be the best cornerback on the market. I know the Dolphins just cut Xavier Howard, but L'Jarius Sneed, I mean, dude, that guy's a dog.
Yeah, I mean, look, he might have been the best cornerback in the NFL this past year, and I don't think it's crazy to say that at all. Where can he go in this offseason? Freaking any team. I mean, every single team in the NFL needs a star, premier, lockdown cornerback. So I would think he goes to a contender. If they don't tag him, if they don't sign him, he's going to go to another contender because why would the Panthers waste their time grabbing an all-star like or an all-pro like L'Jarius Sneed when they need a lot more than just him to complete the puzzle. Who are some of the better teams to complete the puzzle? I think, that's where you really need to look at. Who is just like a corner away from making a big, deep run? Maybe the Eagles.
Eagles?
Do the Panthers have a coach yet?
Yes.
What is that organization
They
doing?
hired the Bucks OC.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Dave Canales.
I think
it's a decent hire.
Canales. Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I guess he made something happen to Baker.
Yeah, he made Baker a playoff quarterback.
Fucking beat the Eagles.
Yeah, playoff winning quarterback.
Playoff win. The Eagles were in shambles. They beat themselves. We saw I guess they played kind of tight with the Lions. I mean, they were down by 2 scores, and then Baker scored kind of in garbage time in that game.
Yeah, they had a chance to tie it.
Did they have
Baker
a shot? I guess
they had a shot in that game.
Yeah, they had a shot. Was it a real shot? I don't know. But I guess they had a shot. Obviously, we had T. Higgins get franchise tagged. $22 million this year he's owed to the Bengals for getting tagged.
Yep.
So I saw today, obviously we saw he got tagged, but I also saw today that maybe it was the GM or director of personnel for the Bengals said that they were open to moving him.
I mean, I guess they could be. I don't know.
They're open to trading.
I guess it's easier to trade him when he's on the 1-year tag.
When he's on a tag like that and then you trade him, does it just turn into hey, he's on this contract ends at the end of the year and you owe him the money for this year?
I was just to say, so what would happen is he would get traded, right? And then whatever team he goes to, he would immediately, probably within the week or 2, will get a new contract from that team.
Gotcha. So it would be just like a sign and trade kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So for a guy like T. Higgins, who is looking for that next big contract, if he gets traded to, let's call it the Patriots or something like that, he'll go there. And instead of that franchise tag, they're going to re-sign him to like a 3-4 year deal, without a doubt.
You say the Patriots?
That was the first thing that came to mind. I know they need a wide receiver. Don't know why I thought about them. But yeah,
I guess
this team would work too.
Yeah, the Jags would be pretty gross.
Jags hold on to Ridley. I don't think that's a good move for us. It's going to cost us a 2nd-round pick down the line. So I would like to get rid of Ridley and get somebody like T. Higgins just for that reason, save a 2nd-round pick for us. But
yeah,
we'll see what happens. And then the only other thing I had for media day was Nick Sirianni was showing a lot of support for Jalen Hurts, saying he will get better. He's still the leader of this team, and he'll just be lights out. Sometimes coaches try and wiggle around that question, but at the same time, most coaches usually show support of the quarterback. Maybe not for the Bears and Justin Fields, as we've been seeing, but Sirianni in full support of Jalen Hurts. I had somebody bring up the Eagles should trade Hurts while his value's high and get Justin Fields because Fields will be just as good in that offense. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's a little nuts.
That is a little nuts.
Hurts has proven it. Fields hasn't. But Hurts has also had better weapons and a better line.
Look, I'm gonna say Fields definitely has the potential to, be better than Jalen Hurts,
But like,
but
if you plug Fields into the Eagles' offense, like, what does he look like?
I don't think they make the playoffs this past year.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think they're worse?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not advocating for it. I just somebody brought it up. It's an interesting concept.
I
I'm
just don't know.
still pro Hurts though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at this point in Hurts and Fields' career, I'm going with Hurts too. I just feel like he's been more developed as a quarterback to this point, and especially in the Eagles' offense. If you're saying let's bring in Fields to this spot and you're going to do better than what Jalen Hurts is, I mean, Jalen Hurts took you guys a Super Bowl. I understand last
Right.
year was very disappointing, but it took you to a Super Bowl 2 years ago. You think Justin Fields is going to be able to come in and take you guys to a Super Bowl? Highly doubt that.
Brian will like quote this and airlift the shit out of this media Brian quote, and it'll be plastered on our Instagram that I'm calling for the Eagles to trade Hurts for Justin Fields. So let's get out in front of that before Brian does his famous airlifting of quotes. But yeah,
I never make up stuff.
I'm not advocating for the Eagles to trade Hurts for Fields. I just thought it was an interesting concept that got brought up to me. I was just seeing what you guys thought if you plug Fields into the current state of the Eagles offense. Brian, did you have anything on the NFL or
Yep.
Giants?
I got a couple
Not that there's
things.
much to talk about with them.
No, the Giants did say they're open to drafting a quarterback, so that's a good sign. But speaking of another quarterback, so the Cardinals' Instagram is going kind of crazy. They kind of coordinated Kyler as their QB1, and I know he is, but they really made it a point to like have a whole montage of photos with him, our QB1, and just a bunch of Kyler pictures. You know, they're in a spot where they could go a different direction, and I don't know if the front office really had any like poll in them posting that on Instagram, or if the social media team just went rogue. But it just
Well, Jonathan Gannon came out at the combine and said the sky's the limit for Kyler and the best is yet to come, and he's our QB1. So the head coach said that. So
okay.
I don't think the social media team went rogue.
So they didn't go rogue.
No, I don't think they went nuts and just started, I guess, I don't even know what you would call that. I guess rogue, like you said. But Gannon did come out, said the sky's the limit, said he's their guy. You know, said the best is yet to come for the Cardinals and especially for Kyler Murray. So, you know, trust me, I do know social media teams do go nuts sometimes and start posting crazy shit, but I don't think that's the case here.
That's what I was gonna say. You're giving these guys way too much credit. There is zero shot that anybody on that social media team is in contact with Jonathan Gannon about what the hell is going on with his thoughts on QB1, or is he gonna go get a new guy in the draft? The social media team has no idea about that shit, dude. They're like, we're looking at Kyler Murray today. Let's just post about Kyler Murray today. Like, because we've seen it before. You know, team will be like, oh, happy birthday to Antonio Brown, and then next thing you know, he's off to Oakland like the next day. Like they'll just trade him. It happens in the NBA all the time. These guys wake up and they're on a new team. When yesterday they just hit, you know, a game winner, and the social media team posted a whole thing about him. You know,
Yeah,
that should happen
it
all
just
the
would
time.
be crazy if somehow like teams are scared of Caleb Williams painting his nails and dressing up in like women's clothing, and he drops to the Cardinals, and the Cardinals draft Caleb Williams, and then you just see the memes of like Kyler going RQB1. The last thing I had on football, Jack, our guy Cam Newton, got jumped at a charity event. I don't know what has to go through your mind as like a drunk human being to be like, let's jump Cam Newton, a guy that was known to run through linebackers and defensive linemen in the NFL.
Cam Newton is not the most respectful person out there. He's very opinionated. He's very different. And I could see how arguments could get stirred up. But you best be not taking that, you know, to the face of Cam Newton, because that is one big dude, and you do not want to mess with him.
And credit to him, he didn't
Yeah.
lose his hat. He kept the hat
He didn't
on the
lose
whole
his
time.
hat and he didn't back down, dude. He was standing on business. He wanted all the smoke.
He's not backing down from a fight.
No.
Who knows? Maybe they were just fighting about the fact he writes all of his captions in alien language. Could have been that simple.
Could have been that simple.
Do you guys see I guess the rules committee or competition committee is going to pitch the kickoff change, and there's some options presented, but the one that got a lot of attention was start the one team on the 35 and the other team on the 25 or the 30.
Yeah, like
and
the
then,
XFL.
Yeah, the XFL, and only the kicker and the return guy can move until the ball is touched.
I love that.
That would be electric, dude. Like, come on, like I used to be like, oh, that's stupid, but like, just throw them out there on the 25-yard line and start the offense at 1st and 10. But if you're gonna have the special teams, which I get is part of the game, and honestly, how a lot of these guys make a living, make it fun like that. There was 2,698 kickoffs. Only 587 of them were returned. 1,970 were touchbacks, and 92 were fair catches. Boring. I mean, come on, dude. We get away from commercial break, show that nonsense, then go back to commercial break. Just bring it back 1st and 10 with the offense of the 25, boot it up, or implement some kind of new kind of thing where you do the XFL or whatever.
Those are some of the coolest plays in the NFL. I mean, punt return,
Can be.
kickoff
They
return.
can be.
Devin Hester's in the Hall of Fame because of kickoff returns.
I mean, you got a guy who's catching the ball and weaving through almost 20 other guys, just left and right, coming all around, breaking a tackle, spinning out. I mean, those plays are electric.
I think it's time we get into winners and losers of the week. We do it every week here, views from section 400. I'll just start it with you, Jack. Who won the week? Who lost the week? What do you got?
So we already talked about it a little bit. So it's kind of tough that we're doing winners at the very end here. But my winner is going to be the NBA's Western Conference. We touched on it before. Very competitive right now. You've got the Lakers and the Warriors sitting in the 9 and 10 spots, the last two play-in spots. You've got Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving with the Mavs sitting in the 7 or 8 spot. I mean, you've just got some really good teams at the very bottom there. And, we're not even getting into the Clippers, the Suns, the Timberwolves, our OKC Thunder. That Western Conference is going to be electric this year, and I cannot wait until those playoffs roll around.
I mean, if the Warriors end up at 10 and the Lakers end up at 9, you could see like a crazy play-in, and then just I'm not gonna put it past Steph Curry, LeBron James to upset the Timberwolves or the Thunder in the first round. I would hate it if it's the Thunder, but
It'll definitely happen, dude.
And
these teams play completely different in the playoffs. That's why it's just nonsense. The regular season is nonsense. People tell me I'm nuts for saying that. They call me a casual.
Lockout year was the best thing that ever happened in the NBA because they started the season on Christmas. They played 50 games. The standings were what they would be after 82. Like, why do you have to play 82?
Yeah. I totally agree. It's all money. And that's why they tried to do the mid-season tournament, which wasn't even mid-season. It was 10 games after. Or I guess they called it in-season tournament, not mid-season tournament. So, yeah. Jack, what do you got for a loser, man?
My loser of the week, Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. It's both of them, both Russ, both the organization. Neither of them are handling this whole situation well. Ever since Russ left Seattle and got signed to Denver, I always just was a little confused about the whole thing. Denver was in a position where they really needed a guy, a whole team. Right? They didn't need just the quarterback. They need the whole team around them. So I never really understood the move for the veteran play here. And it's been biting them. 2 years with Russ now. Haven't seen it yet. 2 different coaches too. 3 with an interim. But you just haven't seen it work yet. You don't think I don't think he has the talent around him. I know Cortland Sutton made some unbelievable catches for this man, Russell Wilson, this past year, but that's it. Tell me who else he's got. Jerry Jeudy's been a bum. Running game was atrocious this past year. They don't really have a lot going for their offense. And now you see all this stuff with Russ is saying, oh, they made me try and change my injury clause in my contract. They said they were going to bench me for 9 games. He's like opening up on some talk show like Oprah or some bullshit. It's just a bad look for both Russ and for the Broncos. Both of them look, like a shitty organization, like a shitty dude, and the whole thing is just loser bill.
Give the keys to Jared Stidham. That's what they need to do.
Maybe that's an option, but yeah, dude, my winner of the week, and again, I always go with the off the beaten track, but the sport of NASCAR and Daniel Suarez for that unbelievable finish, 3-wide thriller. The margin of victory was, I think, 0.003 seconds, like one of the closest ever. Did you guys see the end of that race?
Yeah.
Dude,
I saw the memes with Lightning McQueen sticking his tongue out, and they were like,
what a move! What a move by Kyle Busch, and what an ending! 3-wide. That's that. I give NASCAR the winners for making the adjustments and redoing the Atlanta Motor Speedway. That entire race, that race was electric, and the ending, they won the weekend. They had the most electric event of the weekend. Props to NASCAR. My winner of the week. And then a pretty easy loser, which I thought Brian would definitely have. And it was just U.S. women's soccer team losing to Mexico. It's a horrible loss on home soil. I'm pretty sure they lost at home. Yeah, it was at home.
Yep.
Home soil, and it was, I think, the first time in a while. As I like to say, go woke, go broke. Or go woke and start sucking at soccer.
They got 2-0 too. Like the one
Yeah.
score you can't lose by against Mexico is 2-0, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep. So loser, U.S. women's soccer team. Hopefully the men can figure it out in 2026 and go on an electric run as it will be in North America.
Won't be able to watch any group play games or go to any group play games.
Nope, but we'll be able to watch them in the final at Jet Life.
Damn it. Walked into that one again. I guess I'll go right into my winner. I have the state of Florida. So not only are the Florida Gators in college basketball one of the hottest teams right now, you don't want to run into them in the NCAA tournament, but also the state put on the first ever Florida Man games. So just fully embracing like the news headline of Florida Man does whatever. They were eating they had a pie eating contest. They were driving tractors around for tractor races. They had
Were they wrestling alligators?
I mean, I'm sure that was in there. They had a kiddie pool with mud, and they were like jousting with each other. It looked like a lot of fun, and I kind of wish I would have went or at least known about it before I saw the headline.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to that next year.
Yeah,
maybe.
when is that? Well, I wouldn't be opposed to checking that out. Maybe not partaking in the activities, but it'd be worth the watch.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they'll add donkey basketball next year.
I would have alligator basketball, something.
That's an idea.
There you
That's
go.
an idea.
There you go.
My loser, I have the Army rifle team. So they had the qualifiers for the rifle NCAA national championships, and the Navy and the Air Force both qualified. Army came in 14th and did not qualify. So I don't know if that is a bad representation for our country if we end up going to war anytime soon, but
it's not a great look.
Not a great look
at all. Not a great look at all. That's a slightly concerning, and yeah, it's not a great look. Figure it out.
Yeah,
Wait, they lost to other teams who aren't even military affiliated, or it was only military schools?
Yeah, so the top 10 teams in the country qualified, and they finished 14th. So they lost to 11 other non-military schools.
That's really bad luck.
Could you imagine terrible. Army losing to Florida State in a gun competition? It just shouldn't happen.
Bert Kreischer's sitting there with a 6-pack of beer, just shooting a rifle and beating the.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to go overseas to a war, maybe it might not be good for America, but shit, nobody's coming here and fucking us up because our civilians know how to fucking handle a rifle.
Hey, just keep it to the sea and the air, and we'll be fine. The Navy and the Air Force are still there.
I guess so, but yeah, that's the winners and losers of the week here. Views from Section 400. We got the Michael in at the beginning of the show. If you stuck around long enough in the action-packed episode, you got the winners and losers of the week. That's all I got. We wish Brian a very happy special trip here as he goes on the bachelor party. Definitely want to leave that out there so everybody can congratulate him in the comments below. Other than that, I'm Matt, Jack, and Brian, always along for the ride. It's been Views from Section 400. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
You are now
Shout out Sharif Cooper back in the NBA. War Eagle.
I don't have one.